What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about what the heck is going on with the L'Jarius Sneed situation. When the Chiefs placed the franchise tag on cornerback L'Jarius Sneed just a few days before free agency officially opened, the general consensus from most people was that he was going to be traded, and this was going to be a Chiefs tag and trade scenario where they try to recoup some assets from L'Jarius Sneed. And as much as people would like to keep L'Jarius Sneed, and despite how good he was in 2023, the Chiefs seem like they're not very intent on paying both Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. They already paid Chris Jones this offseason, and it would just be a lot for them to pay L'Jarius Sneed. Also, when you consider the fact that Nick Bolton is coming up for an extension, Trent McDuffie is coming up for an extension in a couple years. It's crazy how fast that time has flown by that we're talking a potential McDuffie extension, but I feel like McDuffie is valued more by this front office. He's a lot younger than Sneed, because the thing with Sneed is he's already 27 years old, and I'm not sure if Brett Veach is a big fan of paying Brett Veach until he's 30 or 31, and that's completely fine. And L'Jarius Sneed, he has every right to ask for the money that he wants. He hasn't been paid in his career, but he's played very well up until this point, so he deserves that money. He has every right to ask for the money that he is seeking, but it's probably the best if the Kansas City Chiefs could trade L'Jarius Sneed, recoup some assets for him, go forward with the investments that they've already made in the secondary, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Chamari Connor. The Chiefs have a lot in the secondary, even if they were to lose L'Jarius Sneed. So it seems like the ideal situation is for the Kansas City Chiefs to find a trade partner for L'Jarius Sneed. And it appears that's what they've been trying to do. Everyone from Jeremy Fowler to Ian Rappaport, every time they've mentioned L'Jarius Sneed, they talked about him seeking a trade and how the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to find a trade partner. And there have been tons of rumors to this point. We've heard about the Indianapolis Colts, we've heard about the Tennessee Titans, we've heard about the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, a bunch of teams showing interest in L'Jarius Sneed, yet nobody has moved on him yet. He's still sitting there with the franchise tag. The Kansas City Chiefs haven't really been able to make any moves because of the franchise tag still being on the books. And a lot of other players who were on the trade block have already been traded. Meanwhile, L'Jarius Sneed still sits on the market. Not only that, but the Detroit Lions, who were considered a very big suitor for L'Jarius Sneed, pivoted and traded for Carlton Davis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which seemingly took them out of the L'Jarius Sneed market. So what we've kind of seen progress over the past couple weeks is all these teams that were considered to be big players for L'Jarius Sneed have since pivoted to other options. So a lot of people are wondering, what the heck is going on? Why hasn't Sneed been traded yet? Is he going to be traded? And is it possible that he just remains in Kansas City? Let's go over it. So let's start with why he hasn't been traded yet, because I think this is the most important piece to it all, and it's the question that most everyone is asking. So my guy, Matt Verderam, who works for Sports Illustrated, does some work on Arrowhead Addict, where I write, has a good pulse on the Chiefs, knows some people inside that building, and he was at the Combine where a lot of these discussions are held about potential trades and free agent signings, all that good stuff. He has reported that the holdup is not the Chiefs being able to find a trade partner or even trade compensation. The main holdup is that whatever team that L'Jarius Sneed gets traded to is going to have to sign him to a new contract. With that being said, L'Jarius Sneed and his new team have to agree on a new contract. And the rumor is that L'Jarius Sneed is asking for too much money. He wants to be the highest paid cornerback in the league, which would be about $22 million per year, or similar to what Jalen Johnson just got from the Chicago Bears. Now, I said it at the very beginning, L'Jarius Sneed is well within his rights to ask for a lot of money or to asked to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL because he played like one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL this past season. But with that being said, the market is telling him what he is worth, and the market doesn't think that he is the best cornerback in the NFL or that he should be the highest paid. That doesn't mean he can't still get a big contract, but from what Matt Verderame said, L'Jarius Sneed is refusing to move off of that average annual value in contract negotiations, and that's the biggest holdup so far. Because I can tell you this, if L'Jarius Sneed was seen as this top shelf cornerback, someone that every single team is bidding on, he would have been traded by now. No team would have hesitated to give him that $22 million a year. The compensation wouldn't be a problem. He would have been traded by now if the league viewed him in that light. But the truth and the reality is, they don't. That doesn't mean L'Jarius Sneed can't still get a respectable contract that pays him $17, $18, maybe even $19 million a year, which is actually the value of his franchise tag. But he has to be willing to move off that $22 million a year number in order for a trade to work. Now, I also want to address another concern that a lot of Chiefs fans have started to bring up throughout these trade rumors, and that is the compensation in which L'Jarius Sneed would be fetching. The rumored package for him from the Indianapolis Colts was a third rounder in this year's draft and then a mid-rounder in next year's draft. And a lot of people, Chiefs fans specifically, have said that is an awful trade package for L'Jarius Sneed. He's worth more than that. And I'm here to tell you that you're just going to have to start accepting the fact that a third-round pick would be a good return for L'Jarius Sneed. Because if you've really paid attention to the market this offseason, it would really surprise me if L'Jarius Sneed got a second-rounder or more. And that's because, yeah, Carlton Davis, who got traded to the Detroit Lions, it was for a third-round pick. A lot of people are thinking, well, L'Jarius Sneed's better than Carlton Davis. He should get a little bit more than a third, right? But it's not that simple because not only is a team trading a third-round pick for L'Jarius Sneed, they also have to sign him to a new deal. You're basically trading for negotiating rights for L'Jarius Sneed. Also, L'Jarius Sneed is 27 years old, coming off just one elite year and a contract year. I think that's a concern for teams. Not saying that Sneed isn't a good player, but this isn't Jalen Ramsey or Darrelle Revis that we're talking about. It's not that kind of trade market for L'Jarius Sneed. And then on top of it, medicals are a concern. Matt Verderame also reported that the nagging knee injury that he had last year, something teams are taking notice of. And the other thing that I tend to point out that Chiefs fans don't like to hear is that if you saw what Brian Burns got, the Carolina Panthers pass rusher, he was traded to the New York Giants, the Panthers only got a second and a fifth for Brian Burns, despite being offered multiple first-rounders a couple years ago for him. But Brian Burns is 25 years old. He's a premium pass rusher. He plays a more valuable position than L'Jarius Sneed. Pass rushers are always going to get more than cornerbacks. And he only got a second and a fifth. So if a premium pass rusher is only fetching a second, guess what, guys? L'Jarius Sneed isn't getting a second. He's probably going to get a third. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he only got a fourth as well. So fans are just going to have to detach themselves from being a Chiefs fan and look at it realistically and what the market says he's worth. And I think about a third-round pick is appropriate for him. The Chiefs and Chiefs fans are going to value L'Jarius Sneed more than any other team in trade negotiations. And I understand a lot of people have an emotional attachment to L'Jarius Sneed because you're a fan. But again, looking at it realistically, I would be surprised if they got more than a third at this point. Again, compensation isn't the problem. I think the Chiefs would take a third, and I don't think fans should look down on only getting a third-round pick because L'Jarius Sneed was a fourth-round pick a few years ago. To get back a third-round pick for a player that you drafted in the fourth round, that's still a win. The next question that a lot of people have that I am here to answer is, could L'Jarius Sneed just stay in Kansas City? Is that an option at this point? I don't think it's impossible that he could remain in Kansas City, but I think it's nearly impossible that he remains in Kansas City on the franchise tag. I think there is zero chance that L'Jarius Sneed plays on the franchise tag next year. I think the Chiefs want that franchise tag off the books. I think they planned to have it off the books a long time ago, but Unfortunately, they misjudged the trade market for L'Jarius Sneed, or the trade market just dried up very quickly. And so now the Chiefs are sitting here stuck with this Sneed franchise tag, and it's preventing them from making a lot of smaller moves in free agency that they still want to make. Because ever since the Hollywood Brown contract, things had been dead silent from the Kansas City Chiefs in free agency. With a lot of good veterans still available, the Chiefs just haven't been able to do anything. And so I think the Chiefs want to get off that franchise tag as soon as possible. But I'm not sure how motivated they are to extend Sneed. I guess maybe I should pay a little bit more attention to the possibility that he could play on the franchise tag. I just really think the Chiefs don't want that franchise tag on the books any longer. I just think they have too much else that they want to do this offseason, but maybe they move off of that mentality and they say, hey, one more year with L'Jarius Sneed. That way, cornerback, we can push that need off for another year. We don't have to really touch the defense, and then this draft can focus on offensive tackle, wide receiver. We can add another defensive lineman if we want to. Maybe that's the mentality that the Chiefs front office starts to take on, but we will see. I think there's also a slight possibility that L'Jarius Sneed starts to realize, him and his agent, that, hey, this $22 million a year that you're asking for, absolutely nobody wants to give that to you. So maybe you could come back to the negotiating table with us and you'll just have to take 17 or 16 or something like that. Seems a little unlikely. I still think the end result of this is that L'Jarius Sneed is not on the Chiefs in 2024. But the longer that this drags out and the Chiefs are unable to find a trade partner or someone that wants to pay L'Jarius Sneed, the more likely it is that him remaining in Kansas City is a realistic option. One last note that I'll end this on. I saw that Adam Schefter went on Pat McAfee's show and said that there's been zero conversations between the Colts and Sneed. I don't believe that one bit. As much as Adam Schefter is an insider, he is also a mouthpiece for agents and front offices and GMs. And I think that is just the Colts putting that out there through Adam Schefter so that they can look better in negotiations. That's my 2 cents on that, because I'm sure someone was going to bring that up in the comments. But yeah, guys, that is my current pulse on the L'Jarius Sneed situation. But I want to hear from you guys what your opinion is on this. Are you down to keep L'Jarius Sneed? Keep him on the franchise tag? Do you want him traded? Do you still expect that to happen? Lots to discuss here. Would like to hear from you guys. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com for more. I'll see you in the next one. Go Chiefs!